Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Yeah, I could pretty much guarantee that you're dealing with at least one of these, and that is some type of phobia, some type of maybe a trauma from way back, even your childhood. You might not even be aware of it, maybe PTSD. Well, there's a way to help you out with that, and she offers so many different ways of healing. She's a psychotherapist, a certified nutritionist, a shaman, a healer. It would take me half the day here to talk about all her credentials. And she's with us, and Catherine Manning joins us. Hi, Catherine. How you doing?
Oh, hi. Hi, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Southern Fried Spirituality is your website.
Yep.
Before we even begin, I'd love to break down those words. So Southern Fried, I'm wondering how that got in there. And of course, spirituality, because we all have a different view of what spirituality is.
I've been told. Well, here goes. Okay, so I'm from a small island off the coast of Charleston, South Carolina. So there's the southern part. And I just like Southern Fried. You know, it just sounded good, and nobody probably had that domain name. So Southern Fried Spirituality. And I was talking to your producer before the show, and he pointed out something that I just rarely think of, which is spirituality means so many different things to so many different people. And really my my practice is focused on people that come to me and they say, well, I've got this and I've got that and my trauma and my blah, blah. And really what I see over and over and over again is what I saw in myself, which is, besides maybe a clinical depression or a true DSM-5 diagnosis, there is this spiritual emptiness, this longing for a connection that can't be named. And that's what I call spirituality. So not just meditation and a practice like that, because it's not religious. I mean, this is how I say it. I love to say it this way. I don't believe in God because I would never limit the magnificence of the experience I have to a concept, like a belief. I just know that something greater is doing it all the time. And that's what I call spirituality. So isn't that cool? That's it.
Yeah, and because a lot of people think spirituality is religious. A lot of people think everybody has a different definition of it. But thank you for making that clear. I mean, everybody, whatever works for you, really. Is it source? Is it God?
Exactly.
Exactly. Universe? Yeah.
Spirit, whatever it is that can kind of fill that hole in the soul that so many people, I think we all suffer from it, whether you admit it or not. And something's working because people come to me, they come over and over and over again for years. And it's not because I'm fostering dependency. It's because something's working. And my God, I love my work so much. I see people give birth to themselves, you know, and I trust the process because I did the process. I did it. And I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't. And sometimes I'll throw somebody on the table to do some energy work. I hate that word, but I do. You know, which, by the way, I am a scientist. I will not do something like or crystals. I don't do that. I went to acupuncture school. I do points and meridians and chakras and a muscle test to see if it's right. And if it isn't right, I'm not going to do it. So I studied with the brilliant Donna Eden for years. She's so, so brilliant. So that's what I do. So people say energy work. It does sound like Crystal Hetty, and I am from LA. So.
Well, okay. I really want to dig into this a little deeper in terms of, you know, you from a scientific background. Chakras are real. Yes or no?
Chakras are real. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, they are. They're cool.
And you feel that maybe you're not on board with crystals, but you really feel that we can clear out our chakras and just feel better?
Well, I don't know if you could. So very often if I only have one session with somebody on a table, and I know I'm only going to have one session, if I do a chakra clearing the way I was taught from Donna Eden, it'll be a pretty powerful session. And I can get the chakras going counterclockwise and then clockwise, and I can feel it. And you know, there's a woman called Dr. Valerie Hunt from UCLA, and she worked with chakras, and she worked with auras and things like that. And I really poo-pooed it because I am a terrible snob. But when I started to learn about it, I was pretty impressed, and then I started to feel it with my own hands. And I can also see energy. So not like see it like crystal, like a hard table, but I see impressions of energy, and I can tell kind of what's working, what's not working. And most often, sometimes body psychotherapy works really well for people that can't express themselves with words, and it works very well. So a chakra clearing for about an hour especially on the root chakra, which is where we hold all our shame and tribal pain and trauma. And I didn't mean to say it like I was being facetious, but we hold a lot of pain there. It's over the pubic bone. If we clear that sometimes for about a half an hour, and I teach people how to do it themselves, miracles can happen. And you start to feel it. You start to feel your spine tingle. And it's Kundalini, of course, too. So it's pretty incredible to feel that stuff. And people can do it themselves. I teach people to do it themselves, and I give them, sheets, take home homework, because I don't want them to come back necessarily and have me always do it. That's why I don't make so much money on it. I make plenty of, but it's really important to do stuff for yourself, and I teach them how to do exercises every day that are brilliant. They're taken from a whole bunch of places like Tibet and China and all sorts of places, and they get people well. They got me well, and I was always sick, but I'm well. I'm well now. So it's pretty powerful stuff.
I find it exciting that with your scientific background that you do believe in chakras and call it whatever you want, energy medicine. Let's rewind. How did you get into this line of work, being a psychotherapist and a nutritionist and everything else, and a healer? Where did it start for you?
Okay. Oh, I'd love to tell you that. Well, I was in graduate school at Wake Forest University, and an agent saw me, and I became an actress, and I went to New York for 20 years. And I have never hated anything so much, but I did very well. I was on stage, and I was on a soap opera, and I started doing commercials and voiceovers, and I hated it. And every time I didn't get something, which frankly wasn't very often, I wanted to commit suicide. I couldn't handle rejection. So I'm walking down the street. I had my first child in 1989. I'm walking down 3rd Avenue or Third Avenue. I can't remember which way it goes. And I popped into an awakening and a bliss that I can't describe except that happened. And oh my God, I had a spiritual awakening that was just the most powerful thing. And everything was happening except I wasn't participating except as a witness. And it took me to India. It took me to my spiritual teacher. My husband said, "Are you crazy?" And I said, "Oh God, yeah, I'm so crazy." And everything was happening except the love. I couldn't stop it. Now I've always been a meditator, so I think that assisted. I was meditating 2 hours a day at that point. I don't meditate so much anymore. I don't know why, but I think because my life is just so peaceful. I listen to the birds all the time, and except for the people that come and go here, it's always silent. I sing a lot to myself, but it's silent. So I don't meditate so much, but I always had a meditation practice, which I think assisted this awakening. So I ended up in India and have a wonderful teacher. And I said, I want to be a therapist. And she started laughing. So I didn't like that at all. But I came back to New York, and suddenly I was accepted at NYU in graduate school for psychology, which didn't make any sense. I had no credentials. And every single thing fell into place after that. The Psychoanalytic Institute, I became a minister, kinesiology. I did 10 years as a macrobiota cooking counselor. Every single thing was effortless. It was effortless. I absolutely know this happens because when you finally surrender to sort of what is, it's like, I'm really old, so not really old, but old. Carlos Castaneda was a shaman in the 70s, and he talked about being in the right place, the perfect place. And sometimes it's just one step to the right or one step to the left. And every single time I didn't resist something, I was accepted at another school, and I shouldn't have been there. I got accepted in nutrition school at the University of Connecticut. I phonied my way on in there. Oh, my God. They said, you need to have organic chemistry. I said, oh, okay, but I didn't have it, and I still got in. So I quit because it was too awful. But stuff just kept happening. And one of my favorite quotes is from the Vedas, the Indian scriptures that 5,000 years old. We're not the doer, we're the done. And it's just when it's supposed to happen, it's effortless. When it's not supposed to happen, resistance is so gruesome. And I would just twist in agony. And finally, because I'm not very good at surrendering, but when I'd surrender, everything would happen. Everything would fall into place. So does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You know it when it's right. And it just felt that was the direction you should be going in, as opposed to maybe something else that you're going to fight. Like, I think this is it, but I'm not really sure. And when somebody comes to you for guidance, whatever it might be, a trauma, something happened in their past, or they're stuck, they feel stuck. How do you decide what modality to offer them?
Well, that's such a great, that's one of the best questions I've ever heard. Well, if I know if they want to do some talk therapy, we're going to do that. But usually I do a 3-session protocol with, and it's not kind of the fruitcake. God, I'm going to sound really, let me think how I want to say this. There's a wonderful tapping protocol from one of my teachers, Dr. David Feinstein. He's from Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. He was a research fellow. And he developed, and it's really a lot of training, and I didn't finish it, but I'm good at it. You do this tapping protocol. It's so phenomenal. In fact, the bibliography I have is about an inch thick on all the research and the proof that was done, because I will not do it unless there's a lot of proof. But there's this protocol for trauma, and I've seen people get over things that are PTSD that is so debilitating, people cannot leave their homes. I've seen people remove a phobia about heights, and I'm getting icky symptoms because I have that. I think I better do this protocol in one session. It doesn't make sense, except it does, because when we tap on specific cranial points, it just bypasses every piece of logic and goes straight to the center of fear, the adrenal glands, everywhere, and it's gone. It doesn't make sense. We did it. People took it to lobby in Congress and for PTSD victims. Then I have some other techniques. So I'll look at them and I'll tell them about that. Very few people want the 3 protocol sessions because they want to stay around and talk to me. But it reinforces trauma sometimes. So I'm not so sure I like that. But I'll decide as we talk, and then I'll assess and I'll adjudicate. And sometimes, and this is really icky, but sometimes people just want to stay victimed as a victim. And then I just have to say, I'm not the right therapist for you. You have to go someplace else. And that hurts, but I can't. I just, because I don't think that there are necessarily all victims. They're volunteers. If we try stuff, and if you're going to stay with me for 3 sessions, now they're expensive, but wouldn't you rather pay $3,000 and years of psychotherapy that we're just yakking? I think people would. I would. Yeah. Wouldn't you?
You want to see results. You want to feel like you're getting what you put into it. And
I offer money back. I offer their money back if it doesn't work. Now, how about that?
Wow. Well, I'll tell you,
right?
You're so right about people wanting to be stuck, because a lot of people have a victim mentality, and it's just
look at social media, man. I mean, just go. I just learned about echo chambers, but I won't go into that because I don't understand them really yet. But there's a lot of acceptance for people. Wham, 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 wham. God.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
People love to be a victim and hear from other people, oh, I feel really bad. Okay, just move forward. I've been there, done that. Honestly, been there, done that. And you want to share things with people, your friends, whatever. But at the same time, people, don't you get tired of talking about it?
Oh my God, re-traumatize. I mean, I just go cross-eyed sometimes, and I have to do this heart meditation thing and pray for give and taking because I want to go, shut up already. But that does not make me very successful as a therapist sometimes. So right. I really have to, and I have to go to supervision if I'm having those, countertransference issues. And, I used to work very clinically, very Freudian on the transference, and I still do. It happens because people stay with me for so long, and they treat me like their primary object, like the mother. And sometimes this COVID thing has been brutal because people have just been so mean to me. But I get to put myself back together after these sessions, and I get to, drink from the well of silence. And sometimes it's very, very hard, but also the people that are victimizing themselves and complaining every day, and I'm not supposed to do this clinically, but I'll say, stop it, just knock it off. And they do this, like they shake their heads like they woke up, whoa, what happened? And I do Course in Miracles, which is this is a dream, let's have a happy one. But that takes a long time. It's not like I say that the first year. I don't. Like, wake up. And I do the work of Byron Katie, which is the most radical, beautiful work on inquiry, self-inquiry. And people aren't ready for that. And most people don't want that, which is pathetically sad. I can't believe I'm judging like that, but I am. But a lot of people want freedom. They want liberation, and they can't understand what this angst in them is, what this pain is that keeps repeating over and over again. And then we identify it as the part of life where the mystery, and there's this peace that comes over. me and them. That's just so beautiful. And sometimes we just sit in silence for a long time. And I can't tell you what that's like. I'm so lucky to have that. I almost want to pay them. Don't anybody listening think that's true. Not really. But
yeah. But, I've spoken to quite a few energy healers, if we go that way, and other people in the category of how you help people, and they benefit from sessions just as much.
It's so beautiful because, if I even put effort into it, I'm failing. Because what has to happen is I have to step aside and let something else come in. And that always works. But going back to, deciding which modality, I can tell right away if somebody's going to benefit from, an energy session. Because if they're really sort of frozen in their energies and I'm muscle testing and they can't unlock or something, I'm not going to work with them because it's not that they're doing anything bad. They're just sort of controlled. And they're not going to receive, my hands. They're not going to receive anything. Because I learned from Dr. Richard Gerber, wonderful books called Vibrational Medicine, that an energy healer's hands have this, let's see what it's called. What is the second law of thermodynamics? Things fall apart. It's the opposite, negative entropic effect. So as entropy happens, like things disintegrate. Over time, washing machines fall apart, refrigerators stop working. But because of energy fields and auras, now, you can check this out. You don't have to believe me, but it's really cool. Because of the negative entropic force of the healer's hands, we get younger and more put together. It's the opposite of the second law. So wow. I swear I look great because of energy.
Throw that over here. Throw that over here, Catherine.
Yeah, people look so beautiful after sessions. They just glow. I can't tell you what it's like. I mean, I'm not just saying it because I'm projecting. They look in the mirror and go, what happened? That's a negative entropy. And if they do their energy medicine exercises at home, they can create the skin glows and the eyes. It's just so powerful.
Wow.
Negative entropy. Dr. Richard Gerber, he really is an MD.
Interesting. It's I just learned about telomeres. That's a whole different thing we could talk about too.
Oh my God! Right?
Yeah.
Right?
In terms of the secret of aging, we're going to talk. Take a short break and come back with Catherine Manning, who is the owner of southernfriedspirituality.com. Love the name, by the way. Thank you. It's so organic. And it sounds fun. It doesn't sound clinical.
It's not.
It's not. Fun. Yeah. All right. Hang on. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Randy, and this is Dave.
We're the founders of Bombas, the most comfortable socks in the history of feet.
So comfortable, we sold and donated millions of pairs.
To sell and donate a lot of socks, we became obsessed with comfort.
We reinvented the sock from the ground up, adding comfort innovations along the way.
It worked. People tried them, loved them, told their friends about them,
helping us sell and donate millions of pairs.
Try them now at bombas.com/comfy and get 20% off your first order. That's BOMBAS.com/comfy.
Introducing Venture X, Capital One's new travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Parallels Desktop, the #1 choice of Mac users to run Windows on Mac. Windows applications run effortlessly. Parallels Desktop is seamless and fast. Whether you need to run a Windows program, develop or test, game, or just looking for the ultimate flexibility without having to restart, you're completely covered with Parallels Desktop for Mac. Fast, powerful, and easy.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
My dad used to say that.
Sure, yeah. It's from Geico.
Yeah, whenever I would ask my dad for life advice, he'd sit me down and say, son, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. And look at me now, a well-adjusted adult with a drawer full of plastic bags I'll never use.
Okay, I'm confused. Was your dad a licensed Geico agent?
Nah, he was just a real good dad.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And she's back with us. SouthernFriedSpirituality.com. Catherine Manning is hanging with us. She's a psychotherapist, a energy healer. She does so much to help people: energy, psychology, meditation, and more. Can we talk about meditation for a second?
Yes. Let's talk about meditation. It's such a wonderful thing.
And it's so important, but many of us don't do it because we feel like we're doing it wrong. We can't get in a zone. Yeah. We have a misconception as to what it is or how we should be doing it. And break it down like real brief, what it is and what we should be doing to meditate.
Well, first of all, everyone is probably already in meditation because we kind of live in a trance. So that's one thing to know.
Hopefully not during this podcast.
No, but we're in sort of but that's kind of a good thing we're not. Let me say this a different way. The thing, meditation is you don't quit before the miracle, and you're not supposed to be able to quiet your mind. It's supposed to be monkey mind for at least 21 days, and your body's supposed to jerk and twitch and go nuts because the nervous system is calming down. So the most important thing is to not quit. Just try it, but 5 minutes for 21 days. No more, no less. You're good. Even if you fall into the deepest space and you see visions, don't add time because that's when you'll expect it every time and then you'll quit because it gets dry after that. So you do 5 minutes, you sit with your back straight, you put your hands in your lap or you put your hands in Shin Mudra, the thumb and forefinger together, and you count breaths. And I have on my website, on my YouTube, the breaths. It's so simple, it's shocking. But listening to something becomes contemplation, and that's confusing because that's engaging the mind. Oh, I listened to a meditation tape. That's not meditation, that's contemplation. So you count 7, hold 4, breathe out 8. And the rhythm it's so simple, and it is important to do it that way. Then I teach Tonglen, which is the compassion that the Dalai Lama uses. Simple as heck. It's 30 seconds, simple. But if you do it, you have to do it. You can't stop. It's the most important thing you'll do in your life. And it says in somewhere in the 12-step programs that the first fruit of meditation is emotional balance. I don't know about you, but I really always need emotional balance because I'm a wacko. And it so works. Even if you can just get to 1 minute a day, which is enough sometimes because we go through cycles in our lives. 2 hours was a lot, especially when I was had a baby. But actually, I used that time when I was breastfeeding her, and it was the most beautiful thing. Then I got to an hour, then I got to half an hour, then 15. Then I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And it is a payoff beyond belief. But expecting more than following the breath is nuts. It's nuts, in my opinion, so I just judged that again. Good.
So when it comes to meditation, is it... can it be as simple as just taking a walk and thinking? Like, I think a lot of us...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. That's mindfulness. So the real mindfulness has been so mitigated recently. But Shambhala Buddhism, Chögyam, Rinpoche, that I studied with him a little bit in the 70s in Boulder. He taught mindfulness. That's what mindfulness is. You sit and keep your eyes 3/4 or you walk. Don't listen to anything. Take your ear pods out. Just walk. Heel toe. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. You can say a rosary, you can have a mala, you can just walk. Walking is one of the best meditations I know. Do it. You have to do it. We have to do it every day. It's not like, and the best times to do it are at the turn of the day, like 4 a.m., noon, and evening. And try to do it every day and make it a ritual. Like I always ring a little bell and I light a candle and then my cat comes and lays all over me. But, it's because she likes to meditate too. But I just think it's so important to have a ritual. It's nothing. I do 15 minutes now. That's all. Yeah,
it's self-care. And many of us don't do it. And just taking time to be silent is the starting point, I think. Like
the nervous system can redo itself in 30 seconds if you sit down and you're quiet. 30 seconds, that's all you need. And this is not meditation. I'm just saying if you have a chaotic sit for 30 seconds and you'll be redone.
And I've heard that too. Even the classic 3 deep breaths. Actually, there's a reason behind it. Scientifically proven that it's like pressing a reset button on your body or your mind.
Exactly. People, these expectations of I can't do it. well, no, you can't do it because you're fancying it on up too much, honey.
Right.
Just do it. And, of course, you can add something after you learn how to breathe. You can add mantras, and you can do this and you can do that. But I think I just had a workshop for people. There were 25 women here, and all of their experiences with meditation were so complex, I got a headache. They were just sharing their experiences. I couldn't believe how these are brilliant people, and it was so complex, I couldn't believe the agony of the trying. But I think everybody gets a little mad at me because it's so simple. I've just done it for 35 years, so it works.
Well,
I have to quit.
Because we have high expectations of what we should be doing, and it's not even that complicated. Just take a walk and think, or just don't think. Just walk.
And don't worry about thoughts. Thoughts happen, and don't do that. Oh, I put them in a cloud, and so what? I mean, don't worry about thought happens. You cannot stop thinking. Probably not even after death. So just think. Let it happen. I don't think that's a big deal at all.
So,
I make grocery lists sometimes in my meditations. It still counts as meditation because it's the intention of sitting. It's the action of sitting that's the meditation.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I try to block that out because I'm trying to get more work done with my meditation.
You're working so hard, honey.
Yeah, I guess so. Listen, we're just about out of time, but it has been such a refreshing 30 minutes talking with you, Catherine. It really has been. I have loved it. I can't believe we're out of time. You're great. Thank you so much. You've listened so carefully and asked me such great questions. Thank you. I'm like anybody else. I'm curious and trying to learn more. And if anybody wants to learn more about you, and your blog's great, a lot of the information on your website is fantastic, and you've got great videos as well with all different categories. Just go there. Start the conversation. Southern Fried, or if it's okay, I'm going to say it like this. Southern Fried Spirituality.com. Yeah. There you go. And all my contact info is there. Fantastic. All right, Catherine, looking forward next time we get together. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a...
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind, like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind, like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip. Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.